Hello, we are here and we are podcasting about our social media TikTok experience. We had to make a TikTok series of 10 individual clips of something that honestly we like to do and something we're either like advocating for, trying to educate people on. It was pretty free range. And the first question we're going to discuss is which person genuinely experienced the thing they decided to do. So I think my answer to that would be Addison. I think she really showed her personality trait through even her drawings. And the fact that she even chose something as complicated as to make a drawing every single day. We are all artists and we understand how long that takes for all of us. So she dedicated a lot of time. She put in a lot of effort into what she was doing. And not only that, but she was very consistent in posting and what her post looked like to start. Like, you would know if it's an Addison post. Not to mention, drawing aside, like, her skills were definitely up to par. She really showed who she was as an artist, how she loved to draw characters. I do believe, from just knowing Addison briefly in our class, I think that was inspired by her love for video games and characters of that nature. So I think she really embodied what she wanted to accomplish, and she got all of her 10 posts done. So kudos to Addison, I think, for genuinely experiencing the thing she loved to do. I'm going to now pass this over to Maybelline.
Hey guys, this is Maybelline. But I also agree with Natalie on everything she said. Addison did a very well job in doing these TikToks on time. And even though she did say that she was really busy throughout the week, she still managed to make all these drawings very detailed and post on time and make them noticeable to who she was. And I really love how creative she was with them, and I know it was not easy coming up with a drawing every word or trying to incorporate each word into those drawings, but yeah, I'm really proud of Edison. Now I'm gonna pass it to Ianu.
Yes, Addison. I really love how dedicated she was to this series, even though she faced some issues with it, finding that a lot of the trends on TikTok were repetitive and she felt like that artistically stumped her, but she kept pushing through the series. And I think one of the strengths in her series was that, like it was said before, that you knew it was an Addison TikTok based on like the intro and like her little character was there. And I feel like her series overall showcased how clean and sharp her artistic skills are. And I definitely can see her doing this for a while and maybe making a profit off of it. I will now pass over the mic to Sarah.
Okay. Hi, this is Sarah. Like all my other group members said, I agree that Addison really experienced what she was posting on TikTok. I think it was such a great idea for her to essentially come up with her own TikTok challenge in the way she did the drawing every day. And plus, not to mention that her original idea for doing pre-existing challenges didn't work out, so she had to kind of scrap that at the last minute and come up with something more unique. I think it really worked out well for her, and of course with her drawing style and her unique intro, you could always tell which TikToks were put up by Addison before seeing a username or anything else.
Okay, it's back to Natalie, and the second person who I truly experienced the thing that they decided to do is Sarah. I definitely think what she was showing us how to do was very, very useful, and honestly is probably very useful even in today. And so to learn those kinds of things, and for her, again, kind of like I said in critique, for her to be able to just explain it in such a easy way of understanding, I think is very, very helpful. And I really, truly think she enjoys what she was doing. And that only brought the energy back to her audience, as in me, to feel what she feels. And not to mention, it's pretty freaking hard to do. And I know that takes a lot of training. So for her to be able to share that, though, of what she's learned so far, and and be really humble about her skill, but to also educate us and kind of tell anybody that they can do it, I think was very insightful and inspiring.
Yeah, and another person I would like to applaud for doing really well is Maureen. Like her fashion TikToks were kind of interesting, and like I like fashion as well. So seeing somebody else's love for fashion was really interesting as well, and like I feel like she could go on with those TikToks as well, and maybe even become TikTok famous doing those TikToks. But yeah, I like how like her love for fashion really showed in those TikToks, and she did communicate very well with her audience. So props to her.
So this is Keanu, and another person I'd like to mention is Sebastian. I really liked how simple his TikToks were, and I feel like they were oddly inspiring because especially his workout TikTok, I felt like he has a good use of like using music, incorporating that with everyday life. But also there was like a comedic exploration that came with his clips when he was running down the hallway. I just felt like it reminded me of like old Vine. Like there was just some kind of like, I don't know, relatability, but also just like a simple comedy element that I don't really see too much on TikTok. Maybe it's not the most polished, but I felt like that's what it made it strong, and I feel like he can easily connect to his audience that way.
Okay, back to Sarah. The second person I feel like really experienced their TikToks was Riley. I think he took a really big step by opening up on social media to tell his story about a chronic illness, and there's a lot we can learn from his experience and what he was telling everyone. And I think it's always nice, as someone who has a different type of chronic pain, chronic migraines, it's always nice to see someone else that you can connect to, whether you know them in person or just online.
So this is part 2 for our requirements for this podcast, and the question is, this person connected with their audience.
Yeah, I really believe Natalie. This is Maybelline, but I really believe that Natalie connected really well with her audience. Like just how she would stare into the camera and like look at you while doing these exercises, really connecting to the audience. And I know it was not easy recording something every day of some exercise, even though some of the videos were pre-recorded. Like it probably came in handy for her. But yeah, props to you, Natalie.
Thank you.
I also agree. I really liked how the whole main idea was to give her audience an alternative to working out. And I know like that took a lot of effort because she had herself to work out. Like she has to make herself work out so other people could work out. So I really commend Natalie for her series and all the effort that she put into it.
Yeah, this is Sarah. I definitely think Natalie's style of video that really showed her having fun with these exercises, it would definitely make me interested to try some of these out. So,
Yeah,
great job.
It definitely made me want to like get up and move around. And like I was really expecting you to do the swimming TikTok, but I was like, I know she's not gonna swim right now. But yeah, it was pretty fun. And like there's a lot of TikTokers that make TikToks like that, so I feel like you fit perfectly in the TikTok life.
Interesting, because I actually do not like TikTok. But in terms of the swimming, yeah, that would have just contradicted my whole idea, though, because the pool is actually at the Kaplan.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, it's like you can't go to the gym, just get in a pool. And it's like, not everybody has a pool. So, but yeah, it's just another form of working out. But, oh my gosh, thank you guys.
I also wanted to mention, I really liked how it just looked like you were having fun the whole time. Like, I think that's what made it inspiring. Like, oh my gosh, like, maybe, like, I feel like I could become joyous if I exercise. Like, you made it look fun.
Yeah,
so
and it was very
really
inspiring.
Yeah.
Because your smile just added onto it, too.
Yeah, it's like, oh, she's having so much fun. Yeah.
I'm blushing over here. But okay. So interesting. I'm not gonna say myself, but I will say, Ianu. I really think you connected with your audience because, dang, again, it's like I said in critique. I kind of, well, first of all, Korean. Like, you didn't just go. I don't want to use the word basic, but I do want to use the word basic. You didn't just say, I'm gonna teach y'all Spanish. You were like Korean. I was like, what the freak? Yeah. But no, I really enjoyed that, and I enjoyed how, again, you did incorporate like part of their culture. I could just feel that your passion through it. It wasn't just like, oh, I'm trying to get this assignment done, so let me think of some words and some words to translate. It was like, no, you like got involved. Like, you even made a freaking skit, which was funny, and I had no idea what that was about.
No, yeah, it was pretty funny, and like,
yeah.
I just like how, like, even though you're still learning Korean, you seem very interested in it, and teaching others Korean, I know that's not easy, but like, that's pretty cool of you. So
Thank you.
Yeah,
I would also like to add that I think having as solid of a target audience as you did, because it wasn't just for your random viewer who didn't know Korean, it was specifically for people I felt like who had an interest in or were beginning the process of learning Korean. So I think that helped you really be able to connect with that audience.
Thank you. Yes, definitely.
Yeah, and again, just to add on to that, I'm a big, like, culture nerd, so this one definitely inspired me because I feel like, honestly, not enough people take time to learn about other people's culture, especially in the United States, because it's like, we're Big Daddy, we're the best, and it's like, no, the freak you're not, and if you think you're the best, you're definitely not the best, because there's always growing to do, so I think we could always, like, grow, learn, and educate about, other people's culture. And not that it's right or wrong, we just, like, we know about it, we understand it, and knowledge is power at the end of the day, so I think Ianu definitely gave us that. She definitely taught me something, as I think everybody in this room could agree. And yeah, like, definitely freaking pursue that.
Do you want to travel to?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. I want to travel, like, everywhere, but, like, South Korea, Japan, everywhere, Paris.
Yeah.
Just, like, exploring different cultures, and South Korea is just, like, one I'm really interested in right now.
Mm-hmm. Have you tried any food from?
Yeah, I actually made something. I made this dish called kimbap. It's, like, the equivalent to sushi, like Japanese sushi. It was really good, so I really love Korean food.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
And I think just as another pointer, when Maybelline asked if she wanted to travel, I think Ianu is the type of traveler that, like, I'm not going to go stay in, like, resorts and just do the old touristy thing. She's like, no, bro, I want to freaking talk to the people, like, talk to the locals, like, try and communicate with them. That's, like, out of courtesy for another person's country just to even try to learn their language and stuff like that. So
yeah, I feel like you would, like, pull up to Korea, be like, hey, I'm a Yanu, and, like, not do touristy things, but, like, actually incorporate yourself into their own, like culture and stuff like that. So
yeah, that's definitely important whenever you go to another country. You're not like, oh, hey, I'm American, so, like, you guys should, like, conform to what I believe.
No.
Like, you have to kind of assimilate almost and really learn and, like, kind of blend in, especially in a society like that. So
yeah,
exactly.
Definitely.
Sarah, do you have anything else to add?
Not really, but if I ever have to go to South Korea or anything for a martial arts test, I'm definitely taking you with me.
That's good, yeah.
And yeah, all you kids, stay on Duolingo.
right.
That honestly, it's kind of fun though. Like,
It is kind of fun. I was on it yesterday.
Yeah.
I never heard about it until I saw your TikTok, so
Yeah.
very informative.
I honestly just always see it on TikTok too. Like, sometimes the owl will comment things on people's posts. I'm like, this is kind of funny.
I do want to learn another language though. Like I know Spanish, but because I grew up
Yeah.
in
Right.
Hispanic, yeah. But like maybe Arabic. When I was little, Arabic. I went to the school where they taught Arabic, but the language, like the alphabet, is just so different. Like it really messed with my mind. I was
It's
like, oh my
beautiful too.
Yeah,
like the
right.
scripture.
Yeah.
Like I'm Middle Eastern. I'm actually Syrian. I have
really?
that in me. So like my dad's side is like Arabic, but I can't speak it. I'm like I wish. I wish I could just like freaking cuss people out in Arabic. Just like
Yeah, I guess my biggest reason for learning a new language is like I don't want to like leave this earth only knowing like English. Like I want to know more languages so I can connect to more people. So I think it's really important for I think everyone should learn at least one other language than their native one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So it was like interesting. We're at like almost 8 minutes, so I'll tell this brief story. So, when I originally took my semester off, I was gonna go live in Prague in the Czech Republic for 6 months. I had it all planned. I had my PowerPoint ready. I had my budgeting ready. I knew where I was gonna stay in, like youth hostels, all this stuff. And my parents were like, "Shit, you did the research, so might as well."
Yeah.
And I was in the process, like on Duolingo, learning how to speak Czech. And I did that for a good long while, but then, obviously, like, COVID became more severe, all that stuff. But yeah, I think Iana made a good point. Like, I think we should all try and at least learn one other language, even if it's not a requirement in, like, college, Because I know with, like, my BFA now, they're like, you don't have to take a language class, but, like, why not? Or, like,
It's
why not do it on your
interesting,
own? It is very interesting.
Just like eating other cultures' food. Like, I love trying new food, especially when it's like not American food or Hispanic food. Even though sometimes I'm scared because my spice level is very low, and I'll end up like crying the minute I taste any spice.
Yeah.
But like, oh my god, I love trying new foods. So it's so interesting seeing how other people can cook or like just make food out of the simplest things, and it's just it's
What's your
awesome.
favorite, like, cultural food that you've tried?
So I just recently tried igusi with fufu, not like.
Ooh, I love you.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's the favorite food that y'all like? Like that's not common for you.
It's kind of common. It's called bulgogi. So it's like Korean beef. It's like I guess their seasonings is what makes it. It's Korean, I guess, but it's really good. I love bulgogi. Pop. That's what I just made yesterday, which was the sushi, like I mentioned. And there's also kimchi. Kimchi is like fermented cabbage. It's a little bit spicy, but those are like my favorite foreign foods that I've tried.
Okay, for me, honestly, any kind of food that's not from America is great. Nothing against this country, but I really enjoy trying types of food from other countries. But my favorite too would probably be Mexican food, specifically La Bamba on State Street here in Greensboro. If anybody ever wants to try that out, it's great. And then just any kind of Asian food.
And she was like, yeah. She's like, when are you gonna come get me? I was like, I'll be there in 10 minutes.
Okay.
I'll be there in 10 minutes. Huh?
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna say my favorite food real quick. Mexican empanadas. Oh my god. Could eat those all day. All day. All day. Every day. Okay, yeah, we have to move locations because, yeah.
People are loud.
People are loud. All right. All right. We are on part 3 of the TikTok questions. And this question is, this person really experimented. So I guess really played it around. Oh my god. I already know my answer, and that is Maybelline.
Yes.
Hello. Like, you have never done collage before? Never. And that's why I asked you that, because you have an eye for collage, and you should really stick with that. And also, collage on its own is an experiment, but I think you definitely really played around. I mean, you had to spend time, like, cutting, gluing. I'm sure that was very tedious.
It took me about 5 hours just to make one collage sometimes because I couldn't like get ideas. I would just stare at magazines and be like, I don't know what to cut or what to put together. And like Pinterest actually really helps. Like I didn't copy no ideas, like obviously, but like getting ideas from different collages, putting them together in my head. And like that was just pretty interesting to me too. Like I'd be like, wow, I made that. But yeah.
And it definitely shows. I'm curious to hear other people's thoughts.
Yeah, so also when I heard this question, Maybelline was the first person I thought of, just because you really do have such an eye for like the composition of these collages, and to know that you had never done it before, that's insane. I thought you had a ton of experience and like this is something you did every weekend. Also, your setup was really nice. I think that consistency really helped with the series too.
Thank you.
To add on to that, I agree. Like, I remember having a conversation with you before, and I knew you were interested in graphic design. And so when I saw your series, I was like, was that a lie? Because, like, she's a collage artist. Like, it was just so, all of them were so satisfying and reminded me of, like, watching soap cutting videos. Like, how you placed everything and how it came together. It seemed like, oh, okay, you're like, you just cut up some stuff and, like, boom. Like, it took, like, I don't know, 2 minutes, but actually it took hours.
Yeah.
But it looks so professional. Like, you've been doing it for years, and I'm really interested to see you doing it more in the future.
Thank you. And like I think the tricky part was definitely the setup, because I didn't have a tripod and I had to borrow my friend's tripod, but like it was the ones that like the legs stand outwards and that you could see the legs in the camera, so I had to clump the legs together and the camera would tip over while I would be recording sometimes, and it would make me so mad because I would have to start over again. But like this experience was definitely fun, and I actually think I might continue with it just for fun. But if I end up becoming TikTok famous, I'll shout you out. But no, yeah, it was very interesting playing around with collaging, so yeah. But a person I think that really experimented, I would say, is Natalie, because I mean, like, I feel like I would have not been able to come up with so many ideas of different exercises. Like, when I think of exercising, I literally just think of actually going to the gym and, like, just lifting some weights, pull-ups, and that's pretty much it. But she gave out all these ideas, and I think that was pretty much, you know, a good way of experimenting with different things. So yeah.
I would have to agree with that. Other than you, Maybelline, I feel like Natalie, you really experimented with like different modes of like exercising, and I don't know if you actively do all those sports like on a consistent basis. Maybe not, but if you don't, then that means you like made yourself okay, let me, even if I'm not really like skillful in the sport, or maybe I don't do it that often, let me just do this for this TikTok. And I feel like that's exploration in itself. So I would say you really explored.
Thanks.
Yeah, I think another person that should be mentioned here is Sebastian, because his initial plan didn't really work out, so he had to really quickly experiment and find a different way to get the videos done, and I think it worked out really well.
Yeah, I'd kind of have to agree about Sebastian. Yeah, there was some, honestly, some of his TikToks felt like I was watching a fever dream. Like, some of them, like, I was like, what just happened? Did that actually make sense? Was that even, like, the theme? But honestly, I don't even think he cared, and that was what was cool, to be honest. So I think he definitely really experimented, and even if, again, they didn't come out the way he wanted or the way they were supposed to be shown, which I don't even think there's a right way. I think he really toyed around with, you know, what he could do. Like, he added captions, he added different sounds, he filmed himself running down hallways, heating up his food. I mean, it was so random. So I think he really did experiment.
Yeah, kind of like Sophia, like how she started with an idea and then completely scratched it to make tattoo designs for people. Yeah, I think that was pretty interesting too. Like, tattoos, they're pretty hard to make in my opinion, because it's like gonna go permanently on somebody's body, so you don't want to like make something that they won't like, or like, obviously it was just ideas, but I feel like tattoo drawings are difficult, especially because like they're really detailed sometimes, so they have to be perfectly drawn. But props to her for going from one idea to another in the span of a couple days, but still trying to like get the assignment done. So yeah.
And also, since we've mentioned Sophia, I don't know a lot about tattoos because I don't do well with needles, but she seems like she has such a consistent and unique style already, just from what I saw on the TikTok.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree with that. I feel like the tattoo ideas I saw was like, I've seen a lot of like tattoo ideas, TikToks on TikTok anyway. And so I feel like hers really fit into that criteria. It looked very professional. Like, I was like, wow, I would actually consider getting one of her tattoos because it's so aesthetically pleasing. And I feel like even though the design looks so simple, I feel like it's hard to like do something so minimal or simple sometimes. So I think it required a lot of skill that she had.
Yeah. And I kind of saw that last class she had tattoos on her own body, so I feel like that's why it was also kind of easier for her to know how to make tattoo designs. But yeah, it was really good.
And yeah, I would have to agree with all of you. I actually, I think when people want like tattoo sleeves, there's a lot less thought that goes into them because it's like, dang, just pile a bunch of things on my arm and call it a day, and that's art. And which is also, it looks very cool. But I agree with y'all in the sense of I do think it's challenging when people are like, I want a minimalistic tattoo that's super small but super meaningful. It's like, what?
Yeah, that's hard. Like, how is that possible sometimes? But
right.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like she embodied that very well. Yeah, I think, you know, I did see she also has tattoos, so who knows if she practices on herself or not. But yeah, no, I trust her with, like, giving me a tattoo design, although I would never get a tattoo. Cannot do the
I'm
needle.
scared. I don't know.
I know, and people are so shocked when I say that, because they're like, are you an arts major? And I'm like, does that mean I'm supposed to have tattoos? And they're like, no, I could just see it come from you. And I'm like, but I can't think of something so meaningful to my life and on a place on my body so meaningful to me that I would get it done.
Like, I have tattoo ideas, but it's like so much more than just that. Like, you have to think of where you want to place it, if you actually like it, or if not, you're gonna end up regretting it down the road. And like, if you want color in it, it's just so much. And tattoos are actually very expensive, which blows my mind, because the smallest tattoo can be like $60, and I'm like, wow.
That is true, actually.
Yeah.
It's like I want one, but I can't ever decide like on a design where I want it and stuff like that. So I don't even know if I'm ever gonna get one. But,
Yeah.
And for me, like, I can definitely appreciate the art that goes into tattoos, but if I'm being realistic, I almost passed out getting a Dave piercing. There's no way I could sit in a room with a needle for that long. Not gonna happen.
And it's crazy to me, like, just as, like, a general sense of, like, humans and, like, our pain tolerance and how some people would be like, that was, like, nothing. Wait, you mean, like, a bunch of shots going in your arm is, like, nothing? But, like, some people are just built different. And I'm not one of those people.
Yeah.
Like, some people fall asleep during, like, their tattoos, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I have a friend that was like, I'm really scared of needles, and I asked her, so why do you have so many tattoos? She was like, tattooing and shots are completely different. Like, tattooing is just little pricks, and shots is like a full-on needle going into your body. I was like, I think that's kind of the same thing to me, but then again, I've never gotten a tattoo before, but like, it looks painful, especially in some places like where it's like on the bone, and you can just see the skin moving sometimes. Oh my god. But have y'all seen those like TikToks that are like really close to the camera and the tattoo is like going really slow? Yeah, that's crazy to me, like the ink just flying around, but it's pretty satisfying to watch it. So yeah.
And I also have like anxieties about like getting like going to a bad tattooer, because I've seen fail videos of like maybe they put it too deep in the skin and the scarring ends up being really weird. And like sometimes people's skin is just so sensitive, like if they get a tattoo it'll just mess up by itself. It's not even the artist's fault. So I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna get a tattoo because I don't know how my skin's gonna react. So it's just a lot that goes into it. It's like a lot of risk.
And like definitely dealing with the artist, like you have to know if they're good or not, see their work and everything, because you can't just go to anybody and be like, give me this tattoo, because you know that's something permanent, and it's also a lot of money to take off a tattoo. So but
Why is it that my toxic trait is, like, honestly, I would just probably go to any artist, and if they fuck it up, I think that just tells a funny story. I'd be like, what's the meaning of this? It was supposed to be a flower. Why does it look like a penis? Well, here's the thing. My tattoo artist was not really an artist. And then I live with that for the rest of my life. That would be the one cool thing about it. But, any other thoughts on tattoos? Any other people who we think experimented?
I think pretty much everybody experimented because nobody really knew or went into this project knowing like what to do. Everybody just had a general idea and like bounced ideas off of it, but like because when we had that first conversation with Lee, like I kind of just made something up about scrapbooking or like something random about Pinterest, but I actually love Pinterest, but for me to make a project off of Pinterest, I don't know if that I would be able to do that because that would be, I don't know, a lot of work to put into it. But when like combining all those ideas, I came up with collaging, and I've always wanted to do collaging, so that's pretty interesting, and it was fun, just kind of stressful, but it was definitely fun. So yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I wanted
and-
to. Oh,
Sorry.
I just want to ask real quick. Did you have to buy all those magazines, or did you already have it?
No, yeah, I went to buy them. Like, it was actually pretty hard because I could not think of one place where they sold magazines. Like, obviously Walmart and Food Lion, but like you don't go about life thinking where there's magazines. So it was really hard for me to find some. But I also went to Goodwill and like their magazine and book sections, and I found like children's books and stuff like that. But for my magazines, I got them at Food Lion, Dollar Tree, and Walmart. So yeah, I had to go buy some.
And also, while we're talking about experimenting, how many people in this class actually knew how to use TikTok and how to really make TikToks before this project?
No, yeah, it was an experiment. Like
Yeah.
I didn't really know how to cut videos, or like it was kind of hard also adding music to them because some songs were just 30 seconds, but my videos would be like a minute sometimes, and I would have to cut my video to the song. But it was definitely a process. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Part 4 coming up. All right, we're on part 4 for the TikTok series questions, and the question is, this person really created a cool concept and innovative series. Again, I gotta shout out my girl Yanu because for real, like she really just did not do one thing. I mean, she really, I guess this follows in line with the question before. She really experimented. She really created a cool concept. It was very innovative. I would have never thought about teaching a language, nor do I even probably have the skill right now to even be educated enough to teach another language. So she taught me something, and she inspired me in that way. And honestly, that is all I really have to say about it.
Yeah. Like I have a question. Like, you're not taking a class on it, right? Or
No, I'm not.
oh, really? Like,
Yeah,
that's
that's
actually
what I'm
pretty
saying.
cool. You're doing it all on yourself, and you're learning on yourself. So that's pretty cool. And like Natalie said, it was very innovative and a very cool concept because nobody like language is not the first idea I would have thought of teaching or anything, but that's definitely cool. So
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, when I was talking to Lee and I was thinking of an idea, I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? And I feel like I've been slacking with my language study, so I'm like, okay, maybe this will help me like get back into it. So that was like kind of like a main driver of it. And I was already kind of familiar with Korean or like how it works because I learned Japanese like a little bit in high school. So that's how it was like kind of, even though the languages are not super similar, like their sentence structure was, so it was really hard for me to do that. So yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think your TikToks fit into that category. Also, I think we should bring up Addison's TikToks again with this question because, you know, again, having to make up her own kind of drawing challenge to get all 10 done by choosing a random word to
incorporate.
yeah, to base these drawings off of. I feel like that was really innovative and created a solid series that she could keep up for the 10 days.
I also agree with that. Like, even though we knew she was going to draw something, it was always something different. So I felt like, you know, looking at the banner of like, okay, this is day 4. I'm like, okay, what's going to be the new drawing? Like, what's it going to look like? It was always something different. And I feel like that was like a really strong point about her TikToks.
Yeah, and like adding on every day like a word based on the day it was. So like day 5 using 5 words. I can't imagine how stressed she was trying to come up with the drawing using all 5 words. But like her being very creative, I feel like she did a very good job on doing those drawings. So yeah.
Yeah, just kind of piggybacking off of everybody, yeah, I really think Addison showed that innovativeness to her, and this idea again of taking those words and creating a character. It wasn't just like she took those words, created a character, and I was like, how do these words in this character relate? Like, I totally saw everything, and I really liked how she even added like almost like definitions to these words, because every word has its own definition and can mean different things. So she really made it specific to where you would know exactly what this word means. So explaining her terminology, I think, definitely helped us too with seeing that in her character designing. And yeah, I definitely think that was a cool concept and very innovative.
Yeah, and like the intro to her TikToks were also really good. Like the drawings and just changing the date. I think that was a cool concept, because it just made somebody know that was Addison's TikTok based on her introduction. So yeah.
I wanted to add to that, like, I liked how she included those definitions because she wanted her audience to understand fully what she was doing. Like, they didn't feel like, oh, okay, I'm going to look at this drawing. I'm like, what does this word mean and stuff like that. I feel like that was a really smart move, so everyone could just watch the TikTok, enjoy it, like it, and then move on. And I think that's really smart for the algorithm.
So that was called intermission. We're at like 5 minutes, but honestly, I guess one other shout out to this question, that one other shout out person. I'm gonna have to say Sebastian again. I don't even know what I was watching. I definitely thought that was a very cool concept because I had no idea what was going on half the time.
Yeah, and his videos were just so random. It's like kind of he was like vlogging, but not really vlogging. Like, yeah.
But one could like look at that and be like, oh, he didn't really have a target audience in mind. Pfft. That's what I see on my For You page, is just random crap. So, and I enjoy looking at that because I'm like, why? What?
Yeah.
What just happened?
And people become TikTok famous out of the most random things. So
yeah,
I think that was pretty funny. Yeah.
So I really loved Sebastian, how he's very unconventional, and you didn't really follow a structure. Like comparing, juxtaposition to mine. Same thing you see in the beginning, you see the same words, and then it goes into it. But like yours was like, what? Like, I don't even know where it's starting, I don't even know where it's ending, but I'm here for it. And also, I did like how, you could have stretched all of these videos out and been like, okay, well, I need to add something else. But like, honestly, some of yours were like 10 seconds long, and I got enough of what I needed out of it. It was just random, and it was straight to the point, and that was that. So I think that was cool. Yeah.
Sorry. I definitely think Sebastian's TikToks really fit into like almost the culture of TikTok. The short, random, funny. And just funny. Yeah. Just kind of getting it done really quickly and getting your point across. Because I really struggled to get my videos to even fit into the 3-minute maximum length. So being able to do that is honestly a really good skill for TikTok.
Yeah, I agree. When I think about old Vine, I feel like most of it was random, it was short, it was quick, and those Viners were the ones who got popular. And I feel like TikTok is structured the same way, so I feel like all of ours had a story to them, but maybe his didn't really. But I feel like maybe that doesn't mean his wasn't as valid, and I think that's what makes his TikTok series stands out. So I think that's a strength for his.
That's crazy. I miss Vine. I used to do Vine videos, and one time the most random video I recorded was just a squirrel walking on a power line, and I put a funny sound to it. But I miss Vine. That was so long ago. I feel so old.
Me too.
I feel so old.
I think just more of the story for Sebastian is sometimes less is better.
That's true.
Sometimes we think we need to do the most to be the best, to feel the best, and that's not always true. Also, as a neutral perspective, when you look at art, I mean, most of the art, people don't just sit there and explain it. They kind of leave it up for interpretation. So I think that's what you kind of did for us, Sebastian, is not necessarily explaining, well, here's what I'm doing, and this is going to be my series, and da-da-da. it wasn't structured at all, and I think that's where we could make our own structure for it and analyze it and be like, well, this is what it means to us, like, and it might mean something different for everybody else, and I think that's also what made it very feel very innovative.
Yeah, and like when Lee first mentioned this project, I really thought that we were all gonna do art related TikTok videos because it was an art class, but like I was actually really surprised from all the ideas that I saw, and it was pretty cool seeing how like everybody else has interest outside of art, because you know when you think of artists you're like, oh, they're probably just drawing or they're always doing something artistic, but like there's art in everything, so I feel like that was pretty interesting too. So yeah,
That's true.
Sorry.
I'll let you go.
Okay. But also, just shout out to everyone in this class who did do an art-related TikTok series, because one of the main reasons I chose to do what I did is because I knew there was absolutely no way I could make 10 videos about my art within the time frame we had, especially with other classes. It's just I didn't have time for that.
Yeah, I agree with that. And also, like, I think it was important that a lot of us didn't do art because it showed that, like, even though being artists is, like, a main point of our identity, we also have other stuff, like, we have other stuff to us. Like, we have other interests. And I think that's really important to show as artists.
And I know from a personal experience, if I do art 24/7, I will get burnout. That is just what happens. Like, you know, everybody says, like, well, if it's your passion, don't you love it 24/7? Fuck no.
Yes.
I do not. And I have to love other things, because if I didn't love other things and I just did art, I don't think I would be an artist. And that's just the truth. So
I would probably end up hating art in the end from how much art I'm forced to do or either doing on my own. Like that's why a lot of artists don't take up being artists as a career and just a hobby, because they're like, I don't think I can do art related things for as like a career or as a job, because then they wouldn't like it. But I feel like if you know your limits and if you know like the specific things you want to do and everything, I feel like you'll be good on it and stuff like that. So yeah, but
all right, on to part 5. We are on part 5 for the TikTok series questions. And this question is, talk openly about a few TikTok series that didn't make the list above, but you all appreciate and why. So we didn't really touch on him as much, but I also agree with, I don't remember where we talked about him for, but Riley, I think like the vulnerability that showed, you know, through screen, I think that's kind of how we all need to be as humans sometimes, is just be very open with ourselves, open to others. That's the only way we grow and learn from one another. And shoot, I mean, again, like, I had no idea about what somebody with an illness like that goes through. So I gained a new perspective, and I think that's honestly the whole point of this series, is to gain different perspectives, get inspired from other people. And I think Riley inspired me in that sense of just, you know, if somebody doesn't know what you're going through, ask and, like, learn. Like, be open to learning, be open to listening. So we didn't touch on him much, but I really appreciate Riley's effort and really also just being so nonchalant when he's explaining things too. Not like, oh, I have this going on and it makes me very sad. He was like cracking jokes, and I was like, you know, because like, and I think that's how we have to view that too, as a neutral perspective for, you know, anybody who goes through any illness, has any disabilities. They're human at the end of the day, and I think they all want to be treated like a human, not like a patient, not like a, oh, I feel so sorry for you and I'm going to talk to you in that way. It's like, no, like, if they did something wrong, tell them. Just because they have an illness doesn't mean you can't say how you feel, you know. They're people at the end of the day, and I think they'll respect that a lot more too, because
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I agree with you. Like, I feel like Riley, like, making those jokes made everybody in the viewer, the audience, more comfortable and not just like, dang, like, I feel bad for him. Like, because I never thought that in the first place. But when he made those jokes, I was like, oh my God, like, I love how he's laughing about it and, like, making himself feel better about it. Because you're not going to be sad 24/7. Like, no matter what's happening to you, I feel like everybody should at least, like, smile through their pain or whatever. But I agree with whatever Natalie said about Riley. Like, his TikToks, we didn't talk much about them, but like, I just appreciate how much time and effort he put into talking about his chronic illness. And like, he made a whole list and everything and went over all the points he listed in that list. So I really appreciate what he talked about. But
Yeah, I think what he did was really important for people who goes through what he goes through, and people maybe they have a loved one who has the same illness as him. I feel like that's really important. And I've seen videos on TikTok, like people just share their experiences, whether it be an illness or just something along those lines. And I would see in the comments, people are like, oh my gosh, thank you for sharing this. Like, many people like give tips and stuff. And I feel like that was what Riley was doing. And I think he's doing important work, and I hope he continues to do that.
yeah, and even though like there were a couple TikToks, I feel like a lot of people could relate to them, because not a lot of people are comfortable speaking up about their illnesses, but seeing other people do it maybe gives them like a better view or a different view on how to view their own illness. So yeah.
Yeah, and going back to Riley, kind of making jokes as he told his story, I think that just highlights how, even though, living with a chronic illness can't be fun, it's definitely a struggle. It's daily life, and it's not, going back to what Natalie said, he doesn't want to be treated like a patient all the time. He's just a normal person, and I think joking about it really helped kind of drive that point home. Yeah.
So I think the other person I like to address, and again, we didn't talk about that much, is Maureen. I think, dang, I mean, she's definitely got a fashion sense, and you can definitely tell she's very passionate about that too. Because, I think sometimes we think, art just means like, oh, like painting, drawing, collaging, but like art is like in what we wear. Like, that's art. That's how we express ourselves. I think art is anything where you're expressing yourself. So if you enjoy walking around too, I think that's art. But controversial opinion. But no, I definitely think Maureen, I really appreciated her effort in her videos. And also, like, I am not familiar with TikTok that well, but like, she knew how to do transitions and crap too. So I appreciate the effort that went into that. And whether she knew how to do that or didn't learn how to do that, that still takes time. And if she had to learn it right then and there, then that definitely took time. So, yeah, and I really appreciated her outfit sense too. I mean, again, it's like very unconventional, similar to Sebastian. She was very unconventional, and just like, I don't really care what people think. I'm gonna wear what I wear because that's what makes me happy. That's how I express myself. And from the neutral perspective, again, I think that's how we need to be with our art more, is like, at the end of the day, like, art is very similar to people. There are going to be people who like you and don't like you, and there are going to be people who like your art and don't like your art. But do you try and make your art to fit the group who doesn't even like your art in the first place, or do you just try and find your target audience? So I think Maureen really hits home with that, of this idea of like, you don't have to wear what everybody's wearing. Even though there are trends out there, like, wear what you feel most comfortable in, wear what you feel most happy in, and that confidence will show through. So I want to get other people's thoughts on this.
Yeah, no, I think Maureen, like, she did very well in showing her sense of like passion for fashion. That was pretty cool. But like, a video I feel like she could have kept going on with was one of, like, she was using a trend where it tells you what to wear, or like a certain aesthetic. I feel like that would have been really cool to see if she could do like all the aesthetics that the filter said. That would have been pretty cool. But like, Bro, another thing I love about Maureen is her hair. Like, her hair,
Yes,
her hair is
nice.
so unique. Her hair is just like split in the middle, and like I just really like that because that was a trend a couple of years ago or something like that, and now it's just coming back. I feel like a lot of people are doing it again. But yeah, your hair's cute, Maureen.
I also thought she was going to continue that trend of trying different aesthetics. I was really curious to see how she would look in like the emo aesthetic or like the other things, but I think the one she did was like the cute aesthetic. That was nice.
Yeah.
I also liked how she just took clothes from her closet. I feel like Lee even talked about this, like, or someone did, like, you didn't have to go out and buy stuff. Just use whatever you have, and just you can make like a cute outfit. So I think that was helpful for our audience as well. And also, like you said, Natalie, her skill of editing. I remember making my TikToks. I feel like some stuff wasn't really precise, so I don't know how she got it so clean. It seemed like she's been doing this for a while. So
Her transitions were really nice.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I definitely feel like for me personally, even though I don't feel like I really dress up that much, definitely the way you present yourself and the way you're dressed, like that's the first thing someone sees about you, and that's honestly really important for creating your own image. And Maureen has like a really good eye for fashion. Like just in class, she always dresses well, I think.
That's true.
And honestly, I wish I could pull off half of the outfits that she posted on TikTok because I don't know how she does it.
And I feel like even though she made TikToks about fashion, I feel like everybody in the class kind of has their own fashion. Like Yui, Yonu, you be pulling fits sometimes. Like, I mean, okay,
bit. I
she
try.
looks cute. And so does Natalie. Like, I love how sometimes her hair matches her style. Like, if it's a messy style, then her hair will be messy. And also Sophia, like, I like how she matches her outfits to her shoes. Like, I noticed that a lot. And Alex, he's very open about what he wears, so I like that too. Like, it's just everybody has their own fashion. Everybody has their own fashion sense, but it's very interesting seeing like how everybody fits together and does whatever they want and how they want. So yeah.
I think just kind of going off of what Yana said too is, yeah, I like this idea that, you know, she decided to not just like go to the mall and show like, here's what you could buy that will look cute. You know, like she didn't spend a dime, or from what we see, she didn't.
Yeah.
But I truly believe her, and I think that was another way she connected with us as her audience is, you know, she was saying like, you may have a bunch of clothes. Good Lord, I know I do, and sometimes I'm like, how do I spice this up to make it look like a different outfit than what it was, but like also not get rid of it, but also not buy anything new. And so I think she definitely helped me just see that like, you probably have more than you think, and you can probably use it in different ways. It is definitely like art. I mean, you may have a certain material you always use to make a drawing or a painting or whatever, but what happens if you included more of like a mixed media approach, you know, and you added some different elements in? You're still using that same material, but you're adding to it. So I think she was very successful in showing how to do that with items that I probably haven't worn in 2 years, but she's like, hey, bring it back out and we'll show you how.
Also, another person we haven't really talked about, Alex. I really enjoyed how his TikToks were just him making digital art. As someone who's learning how to do that, I tend to really like the videos. It's just like the process of making the art sped up and put to music. I think that's something that really fits in with TikTok too.
Yeah, I feel like TikTok is a good platform for him because a lot of it seemed like it was almost animated, and I really love his art style. So TikTok is a great resource for artists. So I really enjoyed Alex's TikToks.
Yeah, I kind of like how he would post, like he would start his video offs with his image already done, and then like kind of loop it back in the end And like for one of his videos, I watched it more than 3 times because I thought it just kept going, but it just kept looping back. But I think that was pretty interesting, seeing how the process of his drawings were coming alive, and like how they kind of started off pretty random, but they always ended up in a certain idea. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and I only saw a couple of them, and then we briefly scrolled through them before starting this podcast. But yeah, I mean, like, Alex, I kind of always knew you were a great artist. And yeah, you have a very good sense of digital art knowledge. Not to mention, you have a very keen eye for like caricature and yeah, just composition, aesthetic, all of the above. Like, all of yours looked very different, but very similar in the way of, like, I knew it was Alex's work, but different. You also, I can tell you really like a aesthetic color palette to use. So I know you posted yours late and everything, but we did still take a chance to look at those, and I think we really appreciate the time you took to make those, whether they were already made or not. I mean, you had to make them at some point, so I'm sure that took time, and to, you know, watch it in a time-lapse form too. You didn't just post pictures of it. That was really nice to watch. Time-lapse videos I always find are so satisfying. Sometimes I do get a little impatient and scroll through, but when you don't give me that option, when it's like a minute long, then hey, I have to wait till the end. I have to see what this looks like. So I think everybody at this table really appreciated the effort and the time, the energy that went into that.
Yeah, and like I like how his aesthetic is so specific to him. Like you can notice, like, oh, this is by Alex, especially on his Instagram. Like his Instagram is very aesthetic, and when he posts his art, I'm like, wow, that's a really nice idea. Like you would never think of something like that. But his color palettes, like Natalie said, are very specific to him, and just very noticeable that it's from Alex. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts on Alex?
Or anybody else in general.
Anybody else in general for the last minute?
Should we bring up Brandon's page?
Oh yeah, we can. Sure.
Yeah, so Brandon did some videos with music, and I think he had a playlist in there, right? Yeah, and I think that's, at least for me, I could really connect to that because, like, I listen to music every chance I get. If I'm doing something that I don't need to be listening to something else, I always have music turned on. So I feel like that was a really relatable idea.
Yeah.
That's true. I've seen on TikTok that people would try to recommend songs to people. So, like, maybe I feel like that's the strength of a series. If someone wants to discover new music, he'll just play something, and someone can just take that and, like, okay, I'm going to add that to my playlist.
Okay, we are going on to the part 6. All right, this is part 6, no questions included, but this was our podcast. We hope you guys all really enjoyed it. I'm Natalie.
And I'm Maybelline.
And I'm Yanu.
And I'm Sarah.
And do you guys want to add anything?
I'm really proud of that we all did this series, even if some of us rushed it or not. I feel like we all had specific ideas that showed who we are to ourselves, and like, you know, it was pretty interesting seeing everybody else's ideas. And like, I never thought I would have done collages for this TikTok, but for this TikTok series, but like, it was a cool experience, and I would definitely keep doing it as an experience. So
Yeah, I feel like this project really pushed us to, like, kind of get out of our comfort zone and try new things, and I think that's really important to do, just in life, but as artists as well.
Yeah, I personally had a lot of fun with this project, and I feel like it was a cool way to get to see, for some of my classmates, what they like to do outside of class, and for the people who chose to do art, getting to see what kind of art people make outside of class usually isn't something you get in college. You always see what people make for projects. So I feel like this was a good way to kind of get to know people beyond what we see every day in classes.
And I'm just going to say yes to all of that. All right. Bye, guys.